Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into the world of viral YouTube shorts.
Yep, and we've got a really interesting case study, Jenny Hoyos.
Right, she's just 18, but she's absolutely exploded on YouTube.
Numbers are kind of staggering, aren't they?
Oh,
Over
well.
600 million views in the past year.
And averaging, get this, 10 million views per short.
It's
It's wild.
So we managed to get our hands on a detailed interview transcript. Jenny basically spills the beans on her strategies.
Exactly. So our mission today is pretty clear.
We want to figure out how she does it. What's her approach to content creation on Shorts?
And maybe more importantly, what insights can you, our listener, the learner, gain from this? How can you get a handle on this dynamic platform quickly?
We really want to dig into the why behind your success, not just the what.
Okay, so straight away, Jenny says something pretty bold in this interview.
Oh, yeah.
She says she doesn't just hope a short goes viral, she figures out how to make it viral.
Okay, that's confident.
She even calls it absurd to think otherwise. And she believes almost any topic, like any topic, can be engaging if you approach it right.
That really shifts the focus, doesn't it? From luck to process.
Totally. It's about the method.
And according to the interview, her key ingredients are things like story, adding a twist,
Personality, strong visual hooks,
concise messaging, knowing the platforms are different.
and, crucially, high retention and getting people to loop the video.
Right. These aren't just random buzzwords. They're all aimed at grabbing and holding on to that viewer attention.
Okay, let's unpack that absurd statement a bit more. She thinks she can make anything go viral with story and a twist.
Especially on Shorts, right, where people are just swiping, no active click needed.
Exactly. So viewer investment is key. And she often gets that through like a personal why or maybe some irony
The example she gave was pretty good. Cooking for strangers. Why?
to fix her broken kitchen.
Right. That little bit of irony, that personal goal, it just hooks you immediately.
It shows how you can take something maybe mundane and elevate it. Find that emotional core, that unusual angle.
Taps into our curiosity, I suppose.
Yeah.
We want to see how it plays out.
So what does she actually think makes a good short?
Well, she admits it's subjective, but for her, it starts with a really strong visual hook.
Like something that could be a thumbnail for a long video.
Exactly. And it has to make sense visually, even if the sound is off.
And be simple. Like super simple. She said a 5-year-old should get it.
Which makes sense for that fast-scrolling feed. Clarity is king.
And obviously it needs to keep you watching to the end. Maybe even want to watch it again.
That visual hook point is interesting. Strong enough for long form. Implies real stopping power.
And the simplicity, needing to work without audio, that points to needing immediate understanding, no time for confusion.
And probably about cognitive fluency,
Yeah.
The easier it is to process, the better it feels to watch.
So how does she actually make these hooks?
It's surprisingly hands-on. She sketches visuals on her iPad.
Like storyboarding.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
Like designing that long-form thumbnail first. The visual is primary.
Okay, visual first, then the text.
Then concise text. And here's where it gets really interesting. She actually checks the readability
Readability.
using online tools like readabilityformulas.com. And she aims for like a 5th grade level or even lower.
5th grade. Seriously.
Yeah, she mentioned analyzing popular stuff like Mr. Beast and finding it's often at a 1st grade level.
Wow. So the simpler the language, the less chance you lose people?
Exactly. Lower the barrier, widen the appeal. Makes total sense, really. Easy processing feels good.
And speaking of losing people, she found something pretty critical by looking at her data. Retention graphs.
What'd she see?
Big drop-offs right at the very, very end of videos that weren't doing well. The last second.
The last second.
Yep. And the fix, just trimming that one single second off the end.
And that worked.
Apparently it led to big improvements. Better retention, more virality.
Yeah, it's incredible. It really shows how brutal the short-form attention span is.
For sure. On a 30-second short, 1 second is, what, over 3% of the viewing time? It adds up.
And high retention signals to YouTube. Hey, people like this, show it more, respect the viewer's time, down to the second.
Let's talk hard numbers for a sec. Scroll-through rate. That's people watching versus swiping away. Average is maybe 70%.
Yeah, around there.
Jenny gets 85%.
Okay, that's impressive. Holding attention initially.
But here's the kicker. Her average retention, 95%.
95. Wait, how does... Oh, rewatching?
Exactly. People are looping them. Her benchmark for something going viral is basically 90% retention or higher.
Though she did say that can depend a bit on how many impressions it gets initially.
Still, 90+% is the goal.
That distinction is key, isn't it? Scroll through gets eyes on it, but retention, especially over 90%, tells the algorithm it's really good. Worth pushing out more.
Let's make it concrete. Her $1 fast food remake series, you've probably seen those.
Yeah, I think so.
Perfect example of her visual hooks. Consistent framing. You always see the fast food place, the item, and that big $1 price. Clear, centered.
Ah, right. Instantly recognizable.
Totally. Helps with binge watching the playlist, too. You know exactly what you're getting.
And she developed that look how? Just inspiration.
Nope. Good old trial and error. She said she initially studied and even copied hooks from other creators to see what worked.
Smart. Learning from what's already successful. That visual branding, even for shorts, seems powerful. Creates a signature.
So, ideas. Where does she get them all? She apparently has a list with over 1,000.
1,000 ideas. Wow.
Her sources are, well, varied. Watching YouTube, of course. AI suggestions, interestingly.
AI.
But she said the most effective source is just her own life,
Yeah.
everyday experiences.
Makes sense. Authenticity often connects.
Yeah, like the idea for a garden to get unlimited ratatouille came from seeing how expensive the dish was.
Relatable problem, creative solution.
Or the free laundry detergent video that came from her grandma complaining effectively.
Love it. Inspiration is everywhere, but you need a system to capture it, seems like.
Definitely. But then, how do you filter 1,000 ideas?
Good question. She must have a process.
She does. Multi-stage. First, she filters based on her own interest, if it's actually doable logistically.
Okay, practical stuff.
Then hook strength, what she calls the mechanism to keep people watching,
Sure.
and rewatch potential.
That mechanism. What does she mean by that?
We'll get to that. But that first filter cuts it down from hundreds to maybe 25 ideas.
Still a lot.
Then her video editor gets involved. She calls him a key strategist. He helps narrow it down to the final 10.
Second opinion. Assessing virality, that balance between simple and complex.
Exactly. It's collaborative. Shows the value of having someone else focused on the audience and platform.
And those criteria hook, mechanism, rewatch potential, that's a solid framework for judging an idea's stickiness.
Okay, so this mechanism, what is it? It's the stuff that keeps you watching till the end.
Like engagement tactics.
Yeah. She mentioned Mr. Beast's closing circle thing as a classic example.
Right. Creates anticipation.
For her own stuff, she often uses a simple 3 steps or 3 things structure.
Sets expectations clearly.
Right.
Gives a sense of progression.
Exactly. Satisfies that need for a little narrative arc, even in 30 seconds. Makes it easy to follow. You know what's coming.
That clarity is huge for viewer satisfaction, I bet.
And usually she delivers on those expectations she sets up.
Right.
But she often throws in a twist right at the end. A little surprise.
Keeps it interesting.
Her example was great. A $5 Mother's Day gift. The setup was her mom had never gotten one.
Okay, emotional hook.
So Jenny gets her one for $5. Twist. The gift breaks immediately.
Oh no.
But then her mom's reaction was apparently super heartwarming. So you get the payoff, plus that unexpected moment.
That's clever. Fulfill the promise, but add a memorable emotional jolt. Drives engagement, sharing, rewatching.
Okay, brace yourself for a very specific number.
Uh-oh.
Through all her analysis, Jenny found her most popular videos are exactly 34 seconds long.
34. Not 30, not 35, 34.
Yeah. That's her benchmark now. And it's not random. She mentioned research suggesting optimal retention varies with length.
So shorter videos need even higher retention.
For her, yeah. Under 30 seconds, she said they need over 100% retention, meaning rewatches, to really pop off.
Fascinating. Such a data-driven approach to length. Finding that sweet spot for her specific audience on YouTube.
So how do you structure that perfect 34-second short?
Must be pretty tight.
The middle part is apparently more fluid during the edit, but the start is rigid. Always a short hook visual, spoken, or both.
Okay, grab them fast.
Then, immediately, like within the first 3 seconds, a quick 2-line foreshadowing of what's going to happen at the end.
Hook and foreshadowing right up front sets the stakes, gives a reason to stick around.
Yeah.
Crucial first few seconds.
And after that hook and foreshadowing, the key is flow. No awkward pauses or breaks in pacing.
Keep the momentum going.
Yeah, she gave an example. Instead of saying like, okay, let's get started, after revealing McDonald's banned an item she wanted to recreate,
What did she say?
she said, so I cooked illegally.
Much better. Keeps the energy up.
Right. It respects those primacy and recency effects you remember the first and last things. Keeps the key info fresh.
Smart. Thinking about those little transitions makes a big difference to the overall feel. Smoothness matters.
She also mentioned something called but therefore storytelling.
The classic narrative engine. Cause and effect, conflict.
Exactly. Makes things way more interesting than just this happened, then this happened. Need challenges, consequences, adds dynamism.
Even in 34 seconds, that structure helps. A leads to B, but C happens, therefore D engages the brain more.
Let's peek behind the curtain at her actual workflow. How does it go?
Idea first, presumably.
Idea hook, last line foreshadowing, rough script or bullet points, film, revise, finalize, script, edit.
Wait, last line before foreshadowing and filming?
Yep. She figures out the ending, or at least the type of ending statement, early on.
Interesting. So she knows the destination.
Often it's just a simple statement about the outcome or her reaction, leaving space for whatever genuine reaction she captures on camera.
That makes sense. Provides structure, ensures everything leads somewhere specific.
And those abrupt endings we talked about earlier, cutting right after the payoff.
Totally intentional, you said.
Completely. Learn from seeing those retention drops. And crisp, keep them engaged, maybe make them hit replay.
Avoids any dead air. Respect the time, maximize the impact. Leaves you wanting more.
Now, thinking about her audience, who is she making these for?
Does she have a specific persona in mind?
She does. She thinks of her avatar as basically her younger self and also her nieces.
Her nieces. How old are they?
7 and 10, and apparently new to English.
Oh, wow. So that forces her to focus on.
Visual clarity, simple language, things that work even with a language barrier.
That's actually a brilliant way to ensure broad appeal. If it works for someone new to the language, it'll likely work for almost anyone. Prioritizes accessibility.
And her experience really shows that short form isn't like one size fits all across platforms.
Yeah. TikTok versus Reels versus YouTube Shorts. They're different beasts.
Totally. She found TikTok like shorter, maybe 10, 20 seconds, info-dense, fast-paced stuff.
Makes sense for TikTok's vibe.
Instagram Reels, because people often watch muted, needed strong visuals, subtitles, and things people would want to share.
High shareability, visual focus. Got it.
And YouTube Shorts, where she's killing it, seems to prefer a slightly slower pace, more story, around her 34-second sweet spot.
So tailoring the content to the platform is essential. Can't just dump the same video everywhere and expect the same results.
Her own results varied wildly across them, she said. Really proves the point.
So what's next for her? Just keep cranking out shorts?
Well, she has big plans for long-form content, too.
Oh, interesting. Moving into longer videos.
Yeah, she's actively studying it, wants to replicate her short success there, sees it as new challenge, room for growth.
That takes guts, stepping into a different format when you're already so successful in one. Shows a real drive to evolve.
And she plans to balance both, apparently. Shorts and long form.
What's driving that move to long form? Is it just about the money?
She said, not primarily no. It's more about the challenge, personal growth.
And maybe a different kind of connection with the audience.
Exactly. Potentially deeper connection, building more trust over longer view times.
That intrinsic motivation, the desire to learn and connect, that often fuels real long-term success. It's not just about the numbers.
But she's realistic about the audience, too. She knows shorts viewers and long-form viewers aren't always the same people.
Right. There might be some overlap, but you can't assume everyone who watches a 30-second clip wants a 20-minute video.
Yeah, she believes audience preference is huge. She's seen lots of shorts creators try long-form and struggle to get traction.
Suggests different expectations, maybe different creator skill sets needed too. It's not an automatic transition.
Okay, finally, she shared a couple of hunches. Things she suspects are true, but can't quite prove with the current data.
Ooh, I like hunches. What are they?
First, she thinks shareability might be way more important than the metrics show.
Hard to measure directly, though. And it correlates with other stuff like retention.
Exactly. It's tricky to isolate. But she mentioned one short that had an insane share-to-view ratio and scroll-through rate, suggesting it was a factor.
Interesting. What was the second hunch?
That retention, even though it's super important, might not be the only thing determining virality.
Meaning?
She's seen shorts with lower retention get tons of views, maybe from returning viewers, and others with high retention that didn't take off as much.
So viewer satisfaction is maybe broader than just watch time.
That's the idea. It encompasses more than just sticking around. Maybe enjoyment, value, something harder to quantify.
Those are good points. Analytics tell us a lot, but not everything. Sometimes creator intuition picks up on nuances the numbers miss.
Okay, let's try and wrap this up. Key takeaways from Jenny Hoyos' playbook. What stands out?
Definitely the power of story and adding that twist, even in super short videos.
The absolute focus on strong visual hooks and keeping communication incredibly simple and clear.
Understanding that each short-form platform has its own personality. You got to adapt.
The critical role of retention, aiming really high, and designing for rewatches, for looping.
And her very structured, almost scientific approach to creating the content. Idea, hook, and foreshadowing. It's a system.
What's maybe surprising is how data-driven she is at 18. Analyzing thousands of shorts, checking readability
Yeah,
levels.
aiming below 5th grade.
Yeah.
And the impact of trimming just 1 second, that's meticulous.
Plus, questioning if retention is the absolute be-all and end-all, it shows a really strategic mind applied to this, well, seemingly chaotic space.
My aha moment, I think, is seeing how virality, at least for her, isn't just luck.
Right, it's strategic. It's about understanding people, the platform, and crafting things incredibly carefully. Hook, story, pacing, it's all deliberate.
And for you, the learner, this whole deep dive gives you a framework, right? A way to understand short-form video dynamics.
Yeah, her focus on clarity, engagement, using data, those are actionable insights you can apply almost anywhere.
Absolutely. Grabbing attention, holding interest, clear communication. Those skills are universal, whatever your field.
All right, let's leave you with a final thought to chew on.
Given Jenny's success, using this intense, data-driven approach in a space we often think of as unpredictable.
What other online trends, things that seem random, might actually be decipherable if we just applied careful analysis and were willing to experiment?
Could we use similar principles, understanding behavior, platform nuances, to navigate and engage with information in other fast-paced digital worlds?
Something to ponder. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.